it's Alexa here from A Life in the Fashion Lane, and I wanted to do a video on 3 tips to making it in any industry. I know when I was first starting that I wanted to know about how to make it in any industry, and I never knew how, so I figured I would let you guys in on some tips that I wish I knew. But I have a giveaway going on right now on www.alifeinthefashionlane.com, and you can win a box created by Dr. Phil's wife. So make sure to subscribe. That's all you have to do is subscribe this week to enter to win. Whether you want to be a blogger, whether you want to be an artist, it really doesn't matter. There are 3 tips that really matter the most to be successful. So the first tip that I have is networking. Make sure you get out there as much as possible and meet as many people as you possibly can. I know when I first was starting, I was so scared to go out and meet people. I was so scared to email people because I was like, what are people going to think of me? Are they going to judge me? And then I realized, wow, if you have the chance to email somebody, if you finally make a connection, people care so much more about that and you having the guts to email them than they do about anything else. So make sure to email people so that people know who you are, and don't be afraid to call them either. And I think when it comes to figuring out your contacts and who you need to contact, if I want to pitch a brand anything, all I do is Google the name of the brand. So my first brand that I ever got invited to their Fashion Week show was BCBG. So I Googled BCBG Public Relations. You want to talk to the publicists and the people who represent these brands. You're not looking to get in touch with the owners of a company. You're looking to get in touch with the people who will be the ones making the decisions about a brand, which is people in the press department. So if I want something free, if I'm trying to find a client that will pay me for anything that I do, I always Google, British Airways Public Relations, Guess Public Relations, Kohl's Public Relations, and then I send them a pitch based on that. And if you guys don't know what a pitch is, feel free to reach out to me and email me or tweet me, and I can give you some tips on writing an effective pitch so that people know what you are selling when you email them, whether it's yourself, whether you're selling your brand, whatever. It's all the same pitch. So that is definitely a huge tip that I have, is making sure you get out there and network. If you ever don't know if you want to email somebody, then give them a call. There's no harm in calling somebody either, because then they can put a face to your name if you give them a call and you show that you're putting effort in. And people want to put an effort into something that, the other person is putting effort into. And by calling them, you'll show them that you're interested and you want to put that effort in. So that's definitely important as well. And then there's also groups online like meetup.com. You can find people. Go to anything that's like, if you want to work in fashion, go to a fashion-based meetup, get some new Instagram followers, meet some cool people. If you want to be in health or wellness, it's the same thing. There's tons of those on meetup.com. You can get so many new followers from that, and you'll also just be networking and meeting new people, because you never know who the next person is going to know and who they can recommend you to. So that's really important as well. If you take the first step to emailing them, then you're going to be different than everybody else. So from somebody like me who came from no money, who came from no connections, I've had to make them all on my own. And that's come from emailing people and having the guts and not caring what people think about me. And that's really important to remember. Email whoever you're thinking, find their press contact, and get in touch. The second tip that I have to making it in your industry is finances. When I first started, I was 12 years old. I was making no money. I had no clue how to make money. So it's all been a learning process for me, running a business and knowing how much income I have to bring in per month to afford my apartment, to afford an employee, and afford food and travel. That's something that's really important. And I wish I had had somebody, I guess like myself, be able to give me some of these tips, because I feel like I would have been able to know how to handle my finances so much more. But it's really important to, regardless of whether you're starting a business, you own a business, or you work for a business, to know how much money you need to make each month to, live the life you want to live. That's really important. So make sure that you keep that in a notebook, that you're tracking that every month so you know. I know a lot of people get so hyped up in the moment that they'll end up spending too much money at dinner, they'll end up spending too much money on clothes, and it's really important to really keep your finances in check so that you know when you're not overspending. And then there's also things like, I spend a lot of my money on Uber and Lyft. So Uber and Lyft have their own program actually for entrepreneurs who own their own companies, where every month they send you like a monthly report so that you know how much you spent on that, and then I can write that off directly on my taxes. So every month I look at that and I'm like, oh wow, I spent a lot on that ride, but that was a business ride. I had to take it to the airport or something like that. And then I can go and put that right into my taxes. It's also really important to save money. That was one thing that I never realized. My parents really didn't give me any financial assistance growing up besides buying a bus ticket for me here or there. But they really told me to save my money. So if you put $20 a week, $100 a month away into a savings account, by like 30 or 40, you can be a millionaire. I think that's $20 a week. That's really not that much compared to saving for your future. So now I personally have opened up some type of online platform called Scottrade, which is an IRA fund, and you can put money into it that you can't touch, which is really important. So you get a penalty if you want to touch your money once you put it into one of these savings foundations. And that's actually great, because it's like if I want to buy a bag or I want to do something, I can't, because I don't want to be penalized for trying to take my own money out of an account. So by putting it into an account like Scottrade or an IRA funding account, you don't have access to that money until a certain time, and it just continues to grow instead of you using it on maybe some useless things. So definitely look into any funding or retirement type online platform so that you can put your money into there, anything that you have saved up, and make sure that you end up making money instead of leaving your money sitting in a bank. You know, when you have no money and you're trying to figure things out, that's all I had to do. And I remember the first way that I made my first amount of money was by pitching an Instagram takeover to a brand, and that's how I paid my rent for that month. And I just kept doing things like that when I was 16, and that's how I first started out. Had I had gone back and looked at all of my finances, looked at what I needed to be making a month, it was really dumb for me to move to New York at that age. So if I could go back, that's probably the one thing that I would change. But I was following a dream, and that's all that matters. And with finances as well, if you're 19 like I am, or 18, it's really important to get a credit card just so you can start building credit. Maybe get one that has a limit on it, or I think you have to get one that has a limit on it. But I put a lot of things on my credit card. Then I pay like $100 a month to the credit card. And then it's like if I end up spending something that I didn't really want to pay for, I put it on the credit card so I don't have to worry too much. And you still have to pay money back to a credit card, but at least you're not paying it back up front. So do that, but get a limit on it. And then the third tip that I have is passion. A lot of people in this industry don't have the drive that it takes to succeed. Whether you want to work in fashion, whether you want to work in business, these industries will tear you up, they will spit you out, and they will just keep rolling all over you. And if you get heated in an argument, if you make a bad business move and you freak out, it's all about reputation. And it's really important to realize that if you want to be successful, that you have to create a certain brand for yourself. And then you can't just go crazy and party and do different things at different times, because then people are really going to think about your brand. And then it's like when I see girls who are like, I want to be successful, I want to do this, but they're in it for money, they're in it for fame. You're never going to be successful if you have those intentions. And that's something I really try and show people is, I mean, I was a 12-year-old kid writing for my bedroom. I never imagined any money. I never imagined ever being on TV. I never had those intentions. And if I had had those intentions, I would have a completely different end goal. My end goal wouldn't be to inspire young adults. You think you have the passion, if you think you have what it takes, you don't need money. All you need is one notebook, one pen, write down your dream, and look at it every single day and make it happen. You don't need money, and you don't need connections to make your dreams happen. And you definitely don't need money to write emails. Everything that I did when I was 12 started with an email. It started with me Googling things, which again doesn't cost me any money. And if anything, because of the fact that I spend so much time emailing people, I made more money because of that, because I took the time and effort to call somebody or email them versus just think things would be handed to me. When nothing in this world is going to be handed to you if you don't work at it, and you don't write things down, and you don't have dreams and passions and ways to make them happen. So if we go back, the number one tip that I have is networking. Meet as many people as you can, give your business card to as many people as you can, and never be ashamed to email somebody or set yourself up for something or give somebody a call, because then they will have a face to your name, and that's really important. Number 2 is finances. Make sure to watch your finances, know what you're spending, know what's important, and then also make sure you have extra money saved up somewhere, whether it's in a retirement fund, whether it's in a separate bank account. So if you have a rainy day and you want to go to the movies or you want to go shopping, you can treat yourself, because you have only one life to live. And if you're spending all of your money on employees, on your rent, and you can't treat yourself to anything, then it's not really worth it in the end. The third thing that I have is passion and drive and motivation. If you seriously think you have those 3 traits to make it in your industry, then go out and do it. Take all of the steps that I've given you, email as many people as possible, try and find as many press contacts as you can, and go for it. And there's no shame in emailing people or calling anybody and making your dreams happen. So I hope that's a little bit helpful for 3 tips to making it in your industry. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams. You just have to go for it. And on A Life in the Fashion Lane this week, we're giving away, as I mentioned earlier, an awesome box from Dr. Phil's wife, and all you have to do is literally enter your email. You get 2 emails per month from me, really cool topics every month, and lots of different giveaways. So make sure you subscribe in the box below, and come back next week because I think we are going to do a makeup tutorial for people like me who have no clue how to put makeup on, but also don't want to spend a lot of money and also want to have some type of cover-up foundation on their face. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week.